If you're in the alumni band, could you please make it to the seating area for our start of the program?
Alumni band, let's go.
My name is Holly Biebernitz, and I'm honored to serve as the host for this segment of the program. We're here today to honor Max Cordell. Well, why not? But before we do, homage must be paid to a group of people without whom none of his success would have been possible. I'm speaking of those unsung heroes, laboring silently in the shadows, without recognition, content to watch others take the spotlight, bask in glory, bow to applause. I'm speaking of that noble personage, the band parent. If you were or are currently a band parent, would you stand and let us acknowledge you, or raise your hand if you are standing? And now I'm pleased to present a poem written in your honor. It's called Ode to a Band Parent. The adventure begins in grade number 4 when the student brings home a recorder. The parent considers evicting the child and renting their room to a boarder. By grade 5, the practice begins. At least that's what's supposed to transpire. Hot cross buns rings throughout the house. You think, should he switch to a choir? But when that first concert rolls around and you, breathless, await the result, your tired parent heart explodes with joy. In his success, you exult. All too soon, it's summer band, and off to school you drive each day. You watch in awe and ask yourself, how do they walk backward and still play? Let's not forget that other march, the endless quest to raise funds. The calendars we sold, the candy bars distributed by the tons. When we weren't at football games cheering through halftime shows, we drove to contests and festivals where we sweated or nearly froze. And then in spring there came the tour, the reward, the benediction. Chaperone service, part of the deal, the band parent's job description. We've heard numbers by the score. Count them? No way to tell. But be sure of this, we are everyone big fans of Max Cordell.
Hello, friends. I'm Dan Turner. I was director of bands at Bob Jones University from 1983 until 2019, and I had the distinct honor of hearing the band from Trinity a number of times at the AACS Festival here at Bob Jones. I want to thank Max Cordell for his years of service to Christian education, especially in music, and for the faithful continuation of his calling before the Lord in music. Congratulations, Max. God bless you. I appreciate your friendship over these many years.
at the camera. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, now, whilst he does work, I'm going to be interviewing you. You can keep on working. And what is your job? Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, now,
My job is...
whilst he does work, I'm going to be interviewing you. You can keep on working. And what is your job?
My job is father of this family.
No, and school-wise.
I am the band director and the choir director at church.
Yes, just close up here and
What makes a good band director? You gotta have convictions about the subject matter. I think a person has to have enthusiasm, number one, because you can't sell a product that you do not believe in. And that product is music, and music is a special gift, it's a special talent.
Oh, there's so many great memories. I think some of the opportunities we had on our band trips just stick in my mind.
Marching season, there's a lot of memories, competitions.
I'll always remember the excitement of lining up for the football games and marching over.
Game time.
Game time.
Oh, game time. What?
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
I'll always remember the smell of the uniforms and the feel of the old hats with their gold plume on top of the brim.
That's always a highlight to go through your entire musical career in junior high and high school and essentially not lose.
To this day, and I'm getting chill bumps just thinking about it right now, I remember my very first opening move of my very first marching band experience as we're playing the opening strains of the finale of Dvorak's Ninth Symphony.
And I'll also remember the times I wanted to crawl under my seat when he said something that he thought was funny over the bus PA system.
Everybody say hi to Mom!
I think of the time that we played at the Statue of Liberty, and just playing and seeing the statue there in the background was so awesome. And then the trips to Bob Jones University for the AACS National Championships always have a very warm spot in my heart. We went there and we placed 8 times. There was one time that we had the opportunity, they asked us to play for the awards ceremony. It was on the stage of Rhoda Haber Auditorium. You know, I played on the stage of Rhoda Haber many times as a student.
I grew up in Asheville, North Carolina, near the Blue Ridge Parkway. My dad was a musician and played organ and piano in church, so I'd been around music all my life. The main thing I remember concerning band was a concert that was given in our elementary school by the junior high school band when I was in the 6th grade. Part of the concert was having students come up and direct the band for a few seconds. Well, I was chosen to go up, and I can say that was my first experience conducting a band. From that point on, I was hooked. When we tried out for the instruments, I wanted to play the trumpet, but the director said he thought I was better suited to the trombone, so that is what I ended up playing. I'm thankful now for that decision.
My mom and my dad loved Max. One of the only friends I got to visit in their home. My name is Richard Miles. Max was one of my very, very closest and best friends. Our connection goes back when we were in junior high school and high school together. Max played the piano and he sang. Of course, Max played trombone and I played trumpet. And my first introduction to how gifted he was when he composed a hymn. And he arranged the hymn, and I was just overwhelmed because I didn't have the chops to do that. I had no knowledge.
We had a really good band in junior high and high school, and I marched at football games and in some parades. I loved the activity so much because in a way it gave me a source of self-esteem.
In our senior class, and that was 1969, 4 of us went on to be band directors out of our senior class, and quite successful band directors.
Well, to be a band director, you need to go to college and major in music education. Through a great friend in my church, God led me to Bob Jones University in Greenville, South Carolina in the fall of 1969, where I majored in music education and also played in the band, in the orchestra, and in a trombone choir. I had the opportunity to play on the stage at Rhoda Haber Auditorium many times and also played in the orchestra for a scene in the B.J. film Flame in the Wind. Little did I know that in 1989 I would come back to that stage and play for the AACS Awards Assembly with my own band.
To have my own band up there playing for the awards ceremony was just remarkable.
Max Cordell, I knew many years ago. I'm Frank Garlock. I have taught at Bob Jones University for 13 years and have been serving the Lord through music for the last 80 years or so. I remember him as a student and the ensemble that he was with.
One of our stops while in Florida was at Trinity Baptist Church in Jacksonville. I remember that we played for a youth meeting on a Sunday night. We would usually stay in people's homes, and I stayed in the home of Bill and Jean Green. Little did I know that I would come back and end up teaching 2 of their kids in band.
At Bob Jones University during his sophomore year, he was required to take woodwind methods class as a part of his music ed degree. In his class was a fellow aspiring music educator who, in addition to being a talented pianist, also played the flute and even played mallets and chimes and a mean bass drum. Her name was Joan Gregor. And the rest is history, as they say.
Well, I actually signed a contract for another school in Wilmington, North Carolina, but I didn't have peace about it. And so we didn't send that in.
During our senior year in college, school principals would often come to Bob Jones to recruit teachers, and one day I got a note in my box saying that the principal from Trinity Christian Academy wanted to meet with me.
And I'd heard about Trinity because I'd come to Trinity with a musical ensemble. And then a man named Nicky Chavers also came to Bob Jones and asked me about the position and said that he would love for us to come down and be a part of the ministry, and he had, these grandiose plans.
I know when they built the Music and Science building, they intentionally built that band room, and I know the desire of the founders was to have a really strong music program.
As a young kid just getting into the business, it was really attractive to me. We were married August the 11th and started 10 days later. Our honeymoon was the trip down to Jacksonville. But we stopped at some places, but that was our honeymoon on the way down.
Hi, my name is Wayne Gray, and I was in the band. I started in 6th grade, so probably like 1977, and played all the way through my senior year of high school, class of '83, and I think I played 4th chair trumpet the entire time. So I remember when Max and Joan Cordell first came to Trinity. I know Mrs. Cordell was my music teacher the first year we came over to the Hammond campus, so that would have been about '73. And I remember we were in the old elementary library, I think is where she taught us. She taught me how to play the flutophone. And I remember I had a crush on Mrs. Cordell. I was probably in 2nd or 3rd grade.
After leading in faculty prayer meeting, I make my way to the band room and I open up the band storage room for the students. As you can see, there's not very many here, which is a bad sign. If everybody was practicing like they should, they'd be lined up out in the hallway.
Back then, the band was the, by far, probably still to this day, the most successful program at Trinity. And people came to the football games, not to watch the football team, but to come hear the band play.
Now the band in that time, we were a large band, and the football program was terrible. I mean, it was so bad. In fact, one of my years in the Times Union, it actually said this: same thing at Trinity in football, the best thing on the field is the band at halftime.
Yeah.
They were amazing, and they would, you know, the small little band would go out to these competitions, and every time it seemed like they would come back and they got a superior rating. Back in the late 70s and early 80s, it was very unusual to see another Christian school that even had a band, much less a marching band. So for Trinity to not just have a marching band, but to be able to go out to these competitions where they're competing against public schools and almost always winning the competition, I think we kind of took it for granted. But in hindsight, that was just really unusual.
It's just astounding the legacy that he built over 47 years.
Our score was 78, third place.
Victory in Jesus, my Savior forever.
And teaching is a gift of sharing, and teaching with that passion and that conviction. And I think that's exactly what I saw in Max in high school, and he has continued to exhibit that.
The first time I ever saw the passionate side of Mr. Cordell, we took a band trip to Disney World. And we went up to Space Mountain, and I remember Mr. Cordell said, hey, he goes, you want to ride with me? Because back then you had to put 2 people in each car. So he and I were in the very front of Space Mountain of the ride. And when we took the very first dive, I remember Mr. Cordell, and this is a side of him I'd never seen before. He literally, at the top of his voice, yelled, "Yee-haw!" And I was sitting there going, who's behind me? And I mean, he literally screamed the entire ride. And then the Space Mountain vehicle pulls up, it's at the end of the ride, and we get out, and he's like, all right, see ya, have a great day.
Be pleasantly surprised that a private Christian school can produce this kind of quality. I ask that you'll help our kids to dedicate themselves to excellence. Lord, help them not to be satisfied with the mediocre.
Something that I felt from him, and something that he often verbalized, was that he wanted what we did at Trinity to be of the best quality possible, because it was our way to glorify God.
God be the glory, great things he hath done.
Yes. There was a reason that we did those competitions and the tours and the festivals, but at the bottom of it, for him, it was a part of our witness, and it was a kind of testimony.
The building up of character, just work ethic and just working hard and being consistent.
When I talk to my students about excellence and what they can achieve, even being a small group, my memories always drift back to what we were able to achieve from the standards that Max had for us.
My brother and sister and I were in the unique position of seeing how fully he gave himself to his job, which of course wasn't just a job. It was a vocation and a calling.
Right now we're working on a flag routine for solo and ensemble contest, and then there's music to order.
And he's working on grades.
And he was often bone tired, and he sacrificed sleep and leisure time, but never once did I hear him complain.
Do you like your job?
Yes.
Okay.
And here's my car. I have put literally thousands of miles on this car for the band, but I've been glad to do it. We use it to haul equipment, to haul students.
Getting to be their teacher and their band director all the way through from 5th or 6th grade on up is just a remarkable experience. And also having my own children in the band has been a great blessing.
Here's Elizabeth playing the kazoo. Her first wind instrument.
All 3 of my children, Jonathan, Angela, and Elizabeth, were in the band. 2 of them were drum majors.
The greatest thing, and I think one of his most lasting legacies, will be that genuineness and that sincerity that he always brought to everything that he said and did.
And I just thank the Lord. I've had so many students over the year, and Max's was one of the outstanding ones. I remember him very well, and thank the Lord for the ministry he's had there at Trinity Christian School.
Max Cordell has laid an incredible foundation musically for the band, but also in his faithfulness to doing exactly what God has called him to do. Most important thing that I want to do going forward is continue Max's legacy of faithfulness to do exactly what God has called him to do and to invest in the students that God has given him stewardship of.
I hope that you've enjoyed this videotape presentation. Thank you for coming, and God bless you.
I'm a 93 grad. I played flute for 6 years in the band, played mallet percussion, and I also studied piano with Joan for 12 years. I went away to college to Bob Jones University, and I have a piano degree and a master's degree from Bob Jones University, and then I went away and did a doctoral degree at the University of South Carolina, and I am serving as professor of music at Bob Jones University. And so my comments today, first of all, will be in two-part. One from my husband, Michael, who could not be with us today. He serves as the division chair for the Division of Music at Bob Jones University, and then I'll have some personal comments. Dear Mr. Cordell, on behalf of the Bob Jones University Division of Music, please accept my deepest congratulations and best wishes upon the occasion of your retirement. As chair of the Division of Music, it is gratifying to see alumni who have used their God-given talent and the education they received here at BJU to serve and give glory to God. Your investment in the lives of thousands of student musicians over 48 years of teaching is an inspiring example of what I like to call redemptive artistry, yielding your musical gifts as a sacrifice to the Lord and wielding those gifts for His glory and the good of others, thereby participating in God's plan to conform us into the image of His Son. We will never know the full impact of your teaching ministry this side of heaven, but I can't help but think that the ripples of your faithful service stretch far and wide across the pond of eternity. I regret that I cannot be there to celebrate this special milestone with you, but I'm thankful that my wife and your former student, Deanna Cashmore, is able to attend your retirement celebration. I cannot thank you enough for what you have given her. You invested much in her as a student, and our family of 6 is all the richer for it. Not to mention the many piano students she has the opportunity to teach at BJU. On behalf of your alma mater, please know we're proud of you for your life's work in faithful service to the Lord. We are truly honored to count you as an alumna of BJU. May God continue to bless you as you serve Him. Respectfully, Michael Moore. For those of you who have music as a profession, and then some of you who music is just a hobby, I think we can all rightly say that what the Cordells have invested in us has great influence in what we do every day. So I want to touch upon a few of those. The Cordells gave us a thorough education and held us accountable at every level to make sure we knew our key signatures, our scales at certain tempos, fingerings, trills, and of course rhythms in a variety of time signatures. Those basics can be taken for granted as groups and individuals prepare for performances, but that broad foundation has served each of us well and inspires us to provide the same for those with whom we work. The Cordells taught us the value and necessity of sight reading. We all remember preparing for band festivals like FBA Concert Festival or FAX competition that we have to be very careful when we're sight reading, to play in the right key, to look ahead, to spot the repeats and notice as many expression marks as possible. You get one chance, and that one chance reveals much about your foundation and your musicality. Under the Cordells, we played in both large and small ensembles. For me, it was percussion ensembles, flute duets and trios, and then of course to the entire band. As a member of an ensemble, you learn how you fit into a larger whole, how you contribute, how you follow, how you lead, and how you communicate verbally in rehearsal, as well as your communication as you play the music. And those skills go beyond the music room to essential life communication skills. building on that idea of ensemble, is the opportunity for leadership that the Cordells provided us. Whether it was as section leader in the band, or for some of us being drum major, the opportunity to serve as a peer leader was intentional under Max's direction. We all knew that when we were sent away, either in the music building with our section or on the field with our section, that we were to come back with that material mastered and have the problems fixed. We all had fun in those mini rehearsals, but we understood the task at hand and who we were answering to. My last comment in drawing all of this together is the Cordells' influence on our life-on-life mentorship and discipleship. They gave us opportunities to grow musically, but they never sacrificed who we are as Christ followers. That was our core, and our musicianship and our musicality and abilities grew out of that. The Cordells put up with a lot from us. Our personalities, our quirks, our drama, but we knew that they loved us. We knew that they would always be there for us. And then we always knew that we were welcome back because we were part of the Cordells music family here at TCA.
Well, I guess it's my turn. Thank you, band. Wow, great job today. So many wonderful students and wonderful memories. I've just got so many people to thank today, and I've just kind of made a list. Thank you, Jonathan Cordell. Wow. He spent many hours putting that video together. I don't know where you got some of that stuff, but my goodness, you found it somewhere in the archive. But thank you, and thank you for, I'm going to go by names I know you by, okay? Jenny Sweet and Joy Schreck and all of those that put this together. Let's give them a big hand. And thank you, Mike Summers, for helping me with the alumni band. I want to thank God for leading me to Trinity Christian Academy. You heard a little bit of the story behind the hymn, so forth, how God led us here, all the way from visiting here as an ensemble member with the Bob Jones Brass Quartet, and the way God worked through that to get us to Trinity, it was amazing. And I just say, to God be the glory for all of that. And I thank God for the health that He's given us, and that we've been able to just go year after year, and it hasn't always been easy, and I haven't always got a lot of sleep. But God sustained me anyway, and I'm really grateful for that. I want to thank God for my wife, Joan, and our family. They've been loving, supportive. Yes. Yeah, thank you for the many times that you've had to kind of endure while I was working on a show or doing this or that, and thank you for your support. Thank you, children, for the times that maybe I haven't been there for you when I was doing something for the band, but I love you, and I'm glad that all of you could be involved in it. Joan was flag director for 7 years, and so a lot of this band stuff was a family affair. And of course, 2 of our children were drum majors, and all of them were in the band program. So I'm really grateful for that we could do this as a family. And the trips, all love the trips. We got to go to Chicago and Washington and Philadelphia and New York, played at the Statue of Liberty, played in front of the Lincoln Center, and just some of the great memories back in those days that we were able to do on our band trips. I want to thank the TCA administration for renewing our contract every year. And I started out at $4,000 a year my first year here, and I'm glad to say that they've doubled it since then. Not really, no. More than that, okay. But yeah, they've just been good, been so supportive. They've helped us get the equipment, the uniforms we've needed. And along with a lot of fundraising, we've been able to get things done. I want to thank my fellow band directors. I have Lee Ponder here today and Asa Jernigan. And guys, raise your hand. You still here? Okay, all right, that's okay. But my fellow band directors have just been very inspiring and encouraging to me. And also the whole FBA organization has been a great blessing and a support to us. And we've gone to the conventions in January and sometimes in the summer, and that's how we've stayed fresh. We just keep doing the in-service stuff and keep doing the professional development. And I know a lot more now than I knew when I started. And so that's the good thing. Always keep learning, okay, no matter what you're in. Even if you're retired or fixing to retire, just keep up with it, you know, keep reading, keep studying, and God will bless you and help keep your mind sharp. I also want to thank the parents that are here. Holly said some things about them, but boy, we have had a great group of parents that through the years have pulled trailers for us, helped the kids get into uniforms, served hot dogs and hamburgers at the concession stands, has raised money for us. And parents that are here today, thank you so much for the time, the effort you put into all of that. But more than that, the time and effort you put into your children, and in some cases, the money that you've spent, Mrs. Christ, to buy them instruments, okay? 2 instruments in some cases. And so, thank you. It's a great investment, and keep using it. I'd encourage my students to keep playing. And I'm glad you're here today. If this is the first time you played, though, for 10 or 20 years, think about an opportunity somewhere that you can play and use your instrument, because y'all are really good players. And then I want to thank the staff and the helpers that we've had through the years. This has not been a one-man job, believe me. It has not been a one-man job. We've got some of our drum instructors here. Grant Oliver, and I don't think Mark O'Brien could make it today, but him and a lot of the Guard alumni have come back and helped us with the Guard. And we always need people to come and help us, and we need staff positions filled. And it just makes my life so much easier. And then, finally, I want to thank the students. We've had a lot of students go through the program, but we've had a lot of students, too, that have decided to do something else. And so I want to thank those of you that have stuck it out, and those of you that have come back and said, thank you, Mr. Cordell, for what you've done. And I am so grateful for all of you, the ones that stayed and the ones that didn't, but especially those that finished the job, kept the faith, and used their instrument all the way through their senior year. That's a great, great blessing. And then would come back after their senior year and want some more of it. And so that's good. So thank you very much. Pray for the band. Pray for Mrs. Myrie as she takes over the head position. A lot of people have asked me, well, what are you going to do now? What's your role? I'm not totally retiring. I'm semi-retiring. I'm still going to be working with the beginners and intermediates some. And I'll be working a little bit with the marching band. And I may slip in and help out the symphonic band some too in the mornings. But it'll be mainly... So I'm back to full time again. Yeah. No, you won't see me around much in the mornings. But yeah, I'm gonna still be involved in a little bit. But this is my official retirement. So thank y'all so much. Keep praying for us. Pray for Mrs. Myrie as she takes over, that God will give her wisdom beyond her years, and that she'll be able to learn all the things that I learned when I was coming up through in my 20s. And one advertisement we do need a color guard instructor. And so pray about that need. And if you know people that maybe you marched with that have kind of kept up with the activity, I'd love to talk to you about that. But thank you again for your love. Thank you for the great expressions that you've shown to me today. And I really appreciate it. God bless you.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Jenny Schlosser, formerly Jenny Sweet, who was drum major 1982 to 83, who along with Jonathan Cordell provided leadership in organizing this celebration. Jenny's going to come and acknowledge the many people who donated their resources to make this reception so successful. After those acknowledgments, she has a special presentation to make, which will conclude this part of the program. After that, if you need to get back to your weekend chores, you're of course free to leave, but you're also welcome to stay around and reminisce a little longer. Jenny Schlosser started attending TCA in 4th grade, taught by Joan Cordell in 4th grade in elementary music. She started band in 5th grade and chose the clarinet as her instrument. Joined marching band in 7th grade and was chosen as drum major her senior year, which was a huge honor since up to that point she was only the second female to hold that position. Thanks to the strong musical foundation she received from both the Cordells, Jenny participated in teen choir, school orchestra, church choir, and orchestra, and since has played the piano at several churches and participated in several choirs and praise teams in different cities. Jenny?
Thank you, Holly, and I promise I'll keep this short, and I didn't expect you to read all that. But anyway, thank you so much for being here, and Max, you gave some of your thank yous, but I just have to say everything that happened in this room today took a huge amount of effort. I want to acknowledge the other folks on the planning committee, which was Jonathan Cordell, Joy Thomas Schreck, Janet Kirk Shadow, and Paula Norman Summers. So those were the 5 of us. We had a lot of fun. Wait till applause at the end. But thank you guys so much. This was, everything you see in this room happened by them and not me. And then the families of the planning committee for having patience with us as we spent time on this event. And then some of us roped in other family members to help. So I know Janet's mother spent a ton of time on the centerpieces. Her husband helped with the name tags. Paula's husband helped coordinate the logistics of the alumni band. So thank you so much for that. There were 16 individuals that gave when I asked if they would help fund this party. So thank you to those folks. They were on the screen earlier, and the Band Booster Club as well. Holly, thank you so much for being our MC today. Charles Scaff, thank you for designing the physical piece of the gift that we're going to give in just a minute. And then last, I wanted to just say everybody that worked behind the scenes for this event to happen, thank you so much. The travelers, thanks for those that came, that don't live in Jacksonville, that came to be here to honor the Cordells. They're so happy to have you here. And for those of you that couldn't make it, that really wanted to be here, thank you for watching on the live stream. So big round of applause for all of that work. So Max, you were my band director from 5th through 12th grade. And Joan, you were my first music teacher here at Trinity with the flutophone that I loved. And then I also got to take piano from her after college. So it's hard to think of one of you without the other because you're really a package deal. So you've meant a lot to me and to everybody in this room. Max, you believed in me when I didn't quite believe in myself. And that was a huge confidence boost to this shy, introverted kid. You did have a bigger dream for me on the clarinet than I had, and for that, I'm sorry. But since my early 30s, when it finally dawned on me just how much your pursuit of excellence had positively impacted my life, I have dreamed of celebrating and honoring both of you for your excellence and your dedication to your work. So my dream is coming true right at this moment, as it is my unique privilege to present you with a gift. And this gift is from a large group of people that includes former students in band, color guard, chorus, piano, as well as band parents, and friends and colleagues from inside and outside of Trinity. Max and Joan, you have positively impacted the lives of so many over the years. You have no idea how much your presence has changed our lives forever. And as I've spoken with other band kids leading up to this event, that was the common theme. All of them said they just don't know how much they positively impacted me. So we hope this gift conveys our feelings of deep love, gratitude, and appreciation. We have banded together to give you a cash gift to take the trip of a lifetime, perhaps a second honeymoon, for real. So that would work. So would you all please come up here, and I'm going to put my mask back on because I do not want to give you this head cold. Come right up here. It gives me great pleasure to present this check to you for $16,000. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We love you guys. And that concludes the structured part of this program. So please enjoy the food and fellowship, and if you haven't gotten to see the Cordells yet, please stop by and say hi. Thank you so much for coming, everybody.